everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the English Learning Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and today we're talking about something very powerful, something that can truly change the way you learn English and even the way you live your life. The topic is the power of consistency.
Hi everyone, I'm Julia, your co-host, and I'm so happy to be here with you. You know, Jason, many English learners start with so much excitement they study hard for a few days or weeks, but then they stop. They lose motivation, right?
Exactly. And that's where consistency comes in. Being consistent means doing something regularly, even when you don't feel like it. You don't need to study for hours every day. You just need to keep showing up a few minutes every day can make a big difference.
That's so true. Learning English is not about speed, it's about steady progress. Consistency helps you build habits, and habits make learning automatic. So in this episode, we're going to talk about what consistency really means, why it's so important, and how you can stay consistent in your English learning journey.
Yes! And we'll also share some practical tips, real-life examples, and a short practice activity to help you stay motivated. So, if you've ever felt stuck, tired, or ready to give up, this episode is definitely for you.
All right, everyone, get comfortable, grab your notebook, and let's explore the power of consistency.
So, Julia, before we go deeper, let's start with a simple question. What does consistency really mean?
That's a great place to start, Jason. In simple words, consistency means doing something regularly, not just once or twice, but again and again over time. It's about keeping the same effort every day, even when you don't see quick results.
Exactly. Many people think success comes from doing big things once in a while. But actually, real progress comes from doing small things every single day. For example, if you practice English for just 15 minutes every day, it's much better than studying for 3 hours only once a week.
Yes, it's like going to the gym. If you go one day and work out really hard, it won't change your body. But if you go a little bit every day, your body starts to get stronger. The same thing happens with your English daily practice, builds your skills step by step.
I like that example, Julia. Consistency is not about perfection. You don't have to be perfect every day, you just need to keep moving forward. Even small steps count.
Absolutely. So if you read one page, listen to one short podcast, or learn one new word each day, that's consistency. And over time, those small actions grow into big results.
Well said. So now that we understand what consistency really means, let's talk about why it's so important, especially for English learners. Now that we know what consistency really means, let's talk about why it's so important when it comes to learning English. Julia, what do you think is the biggest reason?
Well, Jason, the biggest reason is simple. When you practice English every day, even just a little, your brain stays connected to the language. You don't forget what you learned. It's like keeping your English muscles active.
That's a great way to say it. English muscles. Just like exercise makes your body stronger, daily English practice makes your mind stronger. When you listen, speak, or read in English every day, your brain starts to think in English naturally.
Yes, exactly. Many learners stop practicing for a week or two, and when they come back, they feel like they forgot everything. But when you're consistent, you don't have to start over again. You just keep growing.
And consistency also builds confidence. When you see yourself improving a little each day, you feel proud. You feel more comfortable speaking and using English in real life.
Right. So remember, everyone, it's not about how fast you learn. It's about how regularly you practice. Just a few minutes a day can make a big difference in your progress.
Beautifully said, Julia. Now that we know why consistency matters so much, let's explore how it actually works and what's happening in your brain when you build consistent habits. So, Julia, now let's talk a little about the science behind consistency. Why does doing something again and again make such a big difference?
That's an interesting question, Jason. You see, our brains love patterns. When we repeat something like speaking English every day, our brain starts to create connections or pathways. These connections help us remember faster and speak more naturally.
Right. It's just like when we learn to ride a bicycle. At first, it feels difficult and strange. But when we keep practicing, our body and brain work together, and suddenly it becomes easy. The same happens with English. The more you use it, the easier it becomes.
Yes. Scientists call this neuroplasticity. It means your brain can change and grow stronger with practice. Every time you study or speak English, your brain builds new connections that make learning faster and smoother.
That's powerful. So, when learners stay consistent, their brains actually adapt and start to think in English automatically without translating from their first language.
Exactly. And that's why daily practice is much better than long, hard study once a week. Consistency helps your brain learn smarter, not harder.
I love that learn smarter, not harder. Now that we understand the science, let's talk about how to actually build strong, daily English habits in real life. All right, Julia, now that we know how consistency works in the brain, let's talk about something really practical, how to build daily English habits. Because, let's be honest, it's not always easy to stay consistent, right?
That's true, Jason. Many learners start strong, but then lose focus. The secret is to make English a part of your daily life. For example, you can start your morning by listening to an English podcast while brushing your teeth or having breakfast.
I love that idea. It's simple and natural. You can also change your phone language to English or write a short English journal every night before bed. Just 1 or 2 sentences about your day is enough.
Exactly. The goal is not to study for hours, but to create small habits you can do every day. When you connect English to your daily routine, like listening while walking or reading one short article before sleep, it becomes automatic.
That's right. And if you enjoy what you're doing, it's even easier to stay consistent. Watch your favorite shows with English subtitles. Sing along to English songs, or talk to yourself in English just for fun.
Yes, the more you enjoy English, the more you'll want to do it. And that's the real power of building habits. It turns learning into something natural, not stressful.
Perfectly said, Julia. Now, let's talk about something that often stops learners from being consistent: laziness and procrastination. So, Julia, let's be honest. Sometimes we all feel lazy or unmotivated. Even if we want to learn English, we just don't feel like doing it. Why does this happen?
That's so true, Jason. Laziness and procrastination are completely normal. Our brains like comfort. They don't like hard work or new challenges. So when it's time to study, we often say, "I'll do it later." But later sometimes becomes never.
Exactly. And the best way to beat laziness is to take small actions. Don't wait until you feel ready. Just start even for 5 minutes. Once you start, your motivation usually follows.
Yes, I always tell my students, don't aim for perfection, aim for progress. If you feel lazy, just do something tiny. Watch one short English video, read one paragraph, or say a few sentences out loud. Small steps still count.
That's a great tip. And another idea is to create a simple routine. For example, set a fixed time every day, maybe right after breakfast or before bed for English. When it becomes a habit, you don't even need to think about it.
I love that. And remember, everyone motivation comes and goes, but discipline stays. So even when you don't feel like studying, just show up. That's how you build consistency.
Beautifully said, Julia. Now, once you start being consistent, it's also important to track your progress to see how far you've come and keep yourself motivated. Now, Julia, one powerful way to stay consistent is to track your progress. When learners see how far they've come, it really boosts their motivation.
Yes, absolutely, Jason. Tracking your progress doesn't have to be complicated. You can use a small notebook, an app, or even a calendar. Just mark every day you practice English, even if it's for 5 minutes.
I love that idea. Seeing all those check marks or notes reminds you that you're growing. It shows your effort, even when you don't feel big results yet.
Exactly. And when you look back after a month, you'll be proud of yourself. You'll realize, wow, I've really been learning and improving.
That's the magic of progress tracking. It keeps your consistency strong and your motivation alive. Julia, sometimes learners work hard every day, but they feel like they're not improving. That can be really discouraging, right?
Yes, Jason, it happens to everyone. Progress in English or in anything is often invisible at first. You might not notice it, but your brain is learning quietly in the background.
That's so true. I always say, trust the process. Even when you can't see results, your effort is working. One day, you'll suddenly realize you understand more, or you can speak more easily, and that moment will surprise you.
Exactly. So don't give up. Keep going even when it feels slow. Remember, every small practice adds up, and that's how real progress is made.
Beautifully said, Julia. Now, let's talk about something that helps a lot with consistency, having a daily routine. Julia, we've talked a lot about consistency, but one of the most powerful tools to stay consistent is a routine. How would you explain this to our listeners?
Sure, Jason. A routine is simply a schedule or pattern you follow every day. When English practice becomes part of your routine, it becomes automatic. You don't have to think about whether you'll do it or not. It just happens naturally.
Exactly. For example, if you decide to listen to English every morning while having breakfast, or write one sentence before bed, soon it will become a habit. And habits make consistency easy.
Yes, and the key is to start small. Even 5 minutes every day at the same time can create a strong routine. Once it becomes natural, you can slowly increase your practice without feeling stressed.
That's right. A routine turns your effort into something effortless over time. Next, let's discuss common mistakes learners make when trying to stay consistent. Julia, even when learners want to be consistent, sometimes they make mistakes that stop them from reaching their goals. What are some of the most common mistakes?
Well, Jason, one big mistake is trying to do too much at once. Some learners want to study for hours every day, and when they can't keep up, they give up completely.
Yes, another mistake is skipping a day and thinking, I failed, so why continue? Consistency isn't about being perfect, it's about showing up again and again, even after small setbacks.
Exactly. And another one is expecting instant results. Learning English takes time. If you stay patient and consistent, the results will come slowly but surely.
Right. Avoid these mistakes, and your path to consistent learning becomes much easier. Up next, we'll do a fun mini practice activity for our listeners to apply consistency in action. All right, listeners, now it's time for a short practice activity. This will help you start building consistency in your English learning right away. Are you ready, Julia?
Absolutely, Jason. Okay, everyone, here's a simple exercise. Take 1 minute and try to say 3 sentences about your day in English. For example, you can say, I woke up early, I had breakfast, I listened to English music.
Exactly. And if you can't remember words, don't worry. Just try your best. The key is to speak every day, even a little. Repeating this activity daily will help you improve quickly.
Yes. And here's a tip. You can write your sentences in a notebook or even record yourself on your phone. This way, you can track your progress and see how much better you get over time.
Perfect. So take a minute right now, speak your sentences out loud, and then try to do this every day. Remember, small steps every day create big results. Julia, before we wrap up, let's give our listeners some final motivation. What advice would you give to someone who wants to stay consistent in learning English?
Well, Jason, I'd say this. Consistency is the key to success. Even small steps taken every day will lead to big results over time. Don't focus on how fast you're learning, focus on showing up every day.
Absolutely. And remember, it's okay to make mistakes. Every mistake is part of learning. What matters most is that you keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep learning consistently.
Yes. And one more thing, celebrate your small wins. Every day you practice English, you're getting stronger and closer to your goals. Stay patient, stay positive, and trust the process.
Perfectly said, Julia. So, to all our listeners, keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps. Your effort today will shape your success tomorrow. And that's a wrap for today's episode of the English Learning Podcast. We hope you enjoyed learning about the power of consistency and got some useful tips to apply in your daily English practice.
Yes, we hope you feel motivated to take small steps every day. Remember, practice a little, stay consistent, and watch your English improve over time.
If you like this episode, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss new tips and lessons. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends who are learning English too.
Also, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment about your favorite tip from today's episode, or share how you plan to stay consistent with English every day.
Thank you so much for listening. And remember, consistency is your secret weapon to success. Keep practicing, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode.